All right, my friend, welcome back to the Energy Center podcast. Dana Teresa here, the metaphysical mentor. Welcome to episode number 66. It's a very special episode today because after today's episode, I'm going to go on a little hiatus. I'm taking a little break. If you haven't listened to episode number 65 yet, the one before this, you'll know why. But essentially, me and my beloved, my partner Drew, and I are heading out on an epic adventure on a really special trip. We're taking our bikes, our touring bikes to be exact, over to Europe. And we're going to be pedaling around Europe and touring and camping and checking out all the places in Portugal and Eastern Europe. We're going to Poland, we're going to the Czech Republic, to Slovenia and Austria. So stay tuned for more on that when I come back. But in the meantime, I'll be taking about 2 months off. But don't you worry, there's plenty of episodes you can go back and listen to. And if you've listened to them before, maybe you want to listen to them again, because the transmission is different every single time. You might hear something you didn't hear before. You might receive a different perspective. In fact, that's what I always tell my clients, those who come in to see me for readings, is that sometimes we record the session if the person wants me to. And essentially, it's a really beautiful way to keep the transmission, keep the energetic healing that you receive, to keep it going when you listen to something again, because sometimes, again, you receive this new perspective, or you see it in a different light, or you receive a message that you didn't hear the first time. So go back and listen to those old episodes, but don't worry, I'll be back in a couple of months, in June, end of June. So in today's episode, what I really am inspired to talk about is our throat chakras, your throat chakra to be exact. And if you don't know what a chakra is, we have these energy centers in the body. So we have these areas in our body, they line up along our spine, and each energy center is this vortex of energy. So it's a place that has a high density of nerve endings and blood vessels. So there's a lot of energetic activity in those centers. So we have these 7 major energy centers called the chakras in the body. The word chakra translates to mean wheel. And our throat chakra in particular is an energy center, which I feel from my own experience. And I know from working with my clients, this energy center has a tendency to be blocked, especially with women and especially with you empaths, because we've learned for a long time, we've been programmed this way. It's been our coping mechanism. It's the way that we've learned to be in the world, is to suppress our voice and hide our truth. And the world is waking up. I did a reel yesterday on Instagram, and in that reel, I said, I'm like super stoked to be alive at this time on this planet, because there is this great awakening happening. We are waking up. You are waking up. If you're listening to this episode, you're probably already aware of this. But we are waking up to the knowing and understanding of how powerful we are, how powerful you are. There is life force energy. There's the energy of the divine and spirit that lives within you. And your soul came to be your highest expression in this lifetime. Your soul came to heal. Your soul came to let go and release of all the things it's been carrying, that's been holding you down lifetime after lifetime, and in this lifetime as well. And your soul really came here to shine. And because we are here on earth in these human bodies, the way that our human communicates to other humans and across the planet is with our voice. Yes, we can communicate with nonverbal communication. And I know that animals communicate with their intuition, and animals are very much aware of energy and how to interact with other animals based on the energetic feedback that they receive. And humans, we've been a little disconnected from that. And it's my belief that since we developed language, since we developed our tongues that can move in so many different ways and create words and spells with our mouth and our throat and the air, that we have forgotten about and we've become disconnected from the energetic communication. Maybe I'll talk about that in another episode when I get back. But right now I really want to focus on the throat chakra. And so women, our voices have been suppressed. I actually was listening to a New York Times podcast, The Daily, and they were interviewing people in Iran and talking to them about how they feel about the war. And I learned something that it's actually, I didn't know this, but it's actually illegal in Iran for a woman to sing solo in public. It's illegal. So you want to talk about our throat chakras, our throat energy center being suppressed. It is literally suppressed by the law in some countries. And for thousands of years, with the suppression of the feminine, our voice has been suppressed, along with our creative energy, along with our nurturing and heart space energy, along with our intuition, like what I was just talking about, cutting off the energy. So we don't no longer have that energetic awareness. We no longer are able to sense as we once were, and we're definitely growing into that. I'm growing into that. I know that many of you are as well. And so with our throat chakras being suppressed through social programming, through past life karma, through just the world around us, maybe in some instances, I know in a lot of instances, women have been silenced throughout history. We've been silenced. And our true history, our connection to our wisdom has been cut off and annihilated. And so it's so important right now. This is why this topic is so important for me and so important for you, beautiful soul, is because if we are here to bring this new earth energy that revolves around love and peace and abundance, we have to learn to use our voice. And not just use our voice, but to use it authentically and express ourselves wholly and completely. And so where do we start? Actually, let's start by understanding what a throat chakra block might look like. So our throat chakra is actually, the energy center is located in the throat. Each chakra vibrates to a different color. The throat chakra vibrates to the color of blue, like the sky. The element it correlates with is sound, of course, right? Because that's exactly what it does. Our throat chakra is our own instrument. We create our own unique sound, and everyone's voice is different. There's not one person on this planet who has the same voice as you. There's some voices, sure, that sound similar, but every single voice is different. Like when you're listening to the radio and maybe a celebrity comes on and they're on the radio, and they haven't been introduced yet, but you can hear their voice and you know who it is, because that is that person's unique voice and unique mode of expression. And so we know that we have an imbalance in the throat chakra if we aren't able to say how we feel. That's number one. So I did this for so long. This topic is so important to me because I suppressed my voice and my truth for decades. I would say probably at least 30 years. I would say in my 30s is when I finally started to let it open and be more truthful with how I was sharing myself with the world and the people around me. And so when we feel hurt or we feel sad and someone says, "Oh, are you okay?" And we're like, I'm fine, everything's okay, right? And really it's not. Our emotions, they move up through the chakras. So our emotional energy center is actually our sacral, our womb space, our second chakra. And the chakras are meant to move up from the base to the crown. And so sometimes we get in this habit of like blocking. And when we're blocking and we're not expressing our truth or letting our emotions be expressed or felt, then the emotions get trapped in the body. And so when someone asks, are you okay? And you're like, I'm fine. When really you're sad, you're hurt, you're angry, then that's a good way to know that the block starts here, and then it's probably moving all the way down the chakra system, all the way to the sacral, at least, maybe even the root. Or this is another good one, right? When someone's like, oh, I know I told you I was going to come to your house tonight, to your party, but I'm not going to make it. So sorry. And then you're like, oh, it's okay. Even though you feel hurt and you're sad, right? And it's like you're telling these little lies too. The telling of lies is also a sign that the throat chakra is blocked or there is imbalance in this throat energy center. So that's number 2, is that you aren't sharing yourself, or you might even notice that you're blocking yourself from expressing what's really on your heart and on your mind in that moment. I used to do this so much to the point that I didn't even realize how much I was doing it. And then once I came into greater awareness around my energy centers, around healing, around expressing myself authentically, I started to notice this pattern of something would like come up, an idea or a thought or even a joke or something funny I wanted to say. But because I had this pattern programmed within me, ingrained within me, I would actually like feel the energy of like blocking what I wanted to say and holding it in. And now I'm so in tune with this, and I start to, and I notice, like when I'm having a conversation with my husband and something comes up that I want to say, and there's a part of me that's like, no, don't say it. Don't say it. He might think it's weird, or he might like laugh at you, or it might not make sense. There's like this little voice in my head that was like, don't say it. And I can actually feel the suppression happening now because it's this subtle energy, but I'm so in tune with it. And what I came to realize is that it actually takes more energy to suppress yourself than to let your expression out. So things, and they can be just little things that I used to hold inside and not express and not share with other people, my friends, my family, my partner. I would start to notice like, oh, this is actually like causing a contraction and a constriction. It feels like negative energy that I'm not letting this out. But if I say what I'm feeling, if I'm saying what's coming up for me right now, if I share with the people around me what I feel called to express, it feels so much better. It's almost like a relief. It's like, whew, got that thought out. Okay, now I've got room for something else to come in. Now it's time for something new and different to come. So stay tuned to yourself. Tune into that energy. When you're having a conversation with someone, does something want to come out of your mouth that you're holding inside? Notice it, observe it, and then notice the energy that it takes to hold that in. And then notice how it feels if you allow it to come out. And it can be something super simple. I used to downplay myself a lot because I'm just going to say it. I live a pretty fantastic life. I live a real magical life. And it's because I've manifested that. But like when people would ask me, like it's come up with this trip with Portugal. People are like, oh, what are you doing this off season? And there's a part of me that still would like feel bad about sharing, oh, I'm going to Portugal. We're taking 6 weeks off. We're bringing our bikes. We're going to tour around. We're going to camp. We just bought a one-way ticket. We're playing it by ear, right? Like there's a part of me that still is like, oh, this might make this person feel bad because maybe they can't take that much time off, right? And so I used to downplay myself a lot, like, oh, I'm going to Portugal. And like not share the full spectrum, the full magical creation that is going to happen because it would feel bad, or I'd be scared, or I just like to play small. I'd like to stay out of the spotlight. And so I have learned just to like express and be my truth and share fully and completely. And we talked about this in a past episode, right? Like other people's emotions are not our responsibility. And also remembering, like if I'm not speaking and sharing my authentic self and my truth and the truth, because that's what's really happening is I'm going to Portugal on this 6-week bike trip, then I'm actually like betraying myself. And I'm perpetuating the programming that it's not okay to be my truth, that it's not okay to be who I am. And the other way to know if you have a block in the throat chakra is that you might tell lies. You might not be truthful. The things that come out of your mouth, maybe they're white lies, maybe they're big lies, but the things that are coming out are not real. They're not really who you are. And there's so many different reasons why people might lie. And that might be, again, another whole podcast. But we have to like start to recognize, do I have a tendency to tell white lies or to not speak my truth? And how can I speak my truth more and more and more and stand behind my truth? Because when we're speaking our truth, we are honoring ourselves. We are honoring who we are. When we are not speaking our truth, then it's like, again, we're betraying ourselves. And we're telling ourselves over and over again that we are less than. So how can you start to heal and open up your beautiful throat chakra? So one thing that I have found that is super helpful is talking to yourself. So sometimes when we're really shy, right here, that was me. When we're really shy, when we're really quiet, when we get really nervous when we talk to other people, it can be a beautiful practice of self-care and self-love and healing to practice talking to yourself. So telling yourself nice, lovely, beautiful things. Talking to yourself as if you were your own best friend. And that not only changes the energy of inviting in more love and acceptance, but it also just helps the energy to start to move out of the throat. It helps the words, the energy, the expression to move, and it starts to do its own energetic cleanup in here, in the throat chakra. Another way to heal the throat is to sing. And I can hear the collective response already. It's like, yeah, I don't sing. I don't have a good singing voice. I host this singing circle with Kirsty, and she was on the show a few weeks ago. And I expressed in that circle what I know to be true, and that's that women's voices and our dancing is like the seat of our power. So it is such a sacred thing for women to come together and sing. It is such a sacred thing for people to come together and dance and move our bodies. Because not only is it healing, is it energy healing, is it releasing, but it is bonding us together. And it doesn't matter if you have a good singing voice or not. I did not have a good singing voice until I started to use it again. It's like a muscle. I would sing to the radio or I would sing in the shower, and I would hear myself and I'd be like, ew, my voice sounds horrible. I'm like tone deaf or something. Like I don't sound good. And then I did a couple of vocal activation sessions, and then like, boom, my voice was there and I could sing. It literally took like 2 sessions. And then I kept singing more and more and more. I kept learning more and more songs. I sing now when I'm at home. I sing in the shower and I belt it out. Because the more you use it, the more open it becomes. So to heal the throat chakra, we have talking to yourself. We have singing. And then to heal it, also practice connecting to the heart. Because your heart is from where everything comes. So they say that the throat is the chimney of the heart, and the heart is where we give and receive. Our heart is our center of love, and our heart is our truth. Our heart is our truth. So if you notice, you have a tendency to be up in the mind. Ooh, this is another sign. I forgot to say it earlier. I'll say it right now. So another sign that your throat chakra is blocked or imbalanced is that you have a tendency to be up in the mind all of the time. And words, ideas stay in the mind, maybe even obsessively in the mind, but they don't ever come out of the mouth. I was like this for a really long time. Like when I was back as a nurse and in quality as a nurse, a desk job as a nurse, and I'd go to these meetings, these management meetings, and I would sit there and like all these thoughts and all these ideas and like, ooh, this person said this, but like if I were to speak up, I would say this, right? Like I would always have these thoughts in my head. And actually what I used to say to myself is that, oh, if something really matters, then I'll speak up. I don't need to speak up unless it's something that's really important to me. Except I had all these incredible ideas in my head that just stayed in my head because I would ruminate and think and wonder like what's the right thing to say and worry about other people's responses. And it just got stuck in this conglomerate of thoughts and worries and concerns and self-judgment. And so if you have a tendency to be up in the mind all of the time and you're actually not letting things move through the throat, then there's a block there as well. And the chakras move like upward. And so if the emotions are there, if the feelings are there, if the connection is there, but you're not letting it out, then that all gets trapped in your energetic field. That all gets trapped in the body. And so to heal the throat chakra, there's singing, there's talking to yourself, and there is practicing connecting to your heart and speaking from your heart. Because when you speak from your heart, I tell my clients this all of the time. When you are speaking from your heart, it is your truth. It comes from a place of love. And maybe it doesn't always sound from an outsider's perspective, like, oh, that's not something that sounds good or that I would want to hear. But when you are speaking from your heart, it's your truth. And it's really hard for people to argue or push back on your truth. So speak from your heart, practice singing Beautiful Soul, and practice talking to yourself. And so there is, again, this awakening, this becoming, this rising of, yes, the feminine energy and an integration of the feminine and masculine and a knowing and an understanding around how powerful we are and that we've been giving our power away to outside entities, and it's time to take our power back. And I'm not like condoning any type of violence or anything like that. I'm saying taking our power back with love that is so deep for yourself that it cannot be messed with, that it is stronger and more potent and powerful than anything else, than any war, than any fighting, than any form of violence, because your love for yourself is so strong that you have to be yourself and nothing less than yourself. And one more thing I want to share about the throat chakra is that we do need to be mindful with our words and ensure that we're speaking from the heart. And remembering that our words actually cast spells. I've heard so many other healers say this, and I think it's an important thing for everyone listening today to hear. Because the things that we say matter. And that's why I wanted you to practice talking to yourself and talking to yourself with love and compassion like you would talk to your best friend. Because would you say to your best friend, oh, you'll never be with someone, you'll never be in a healthy relationship, oh, you'll never get that job of your dreams, oh, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, right? Like, would you talk to your friend that way? No. And so we have to be really mindful of the words that we use, because our words do cast spells. And if we say over and over again the thing that we don't want, that's actually what we're calling in. So we have to be mindful and speak from our heart and our soul, because our soul wants us to be in the healthy, balanced, vibrant relationship. Our soul wants you to have the career of your dreams. Your soul wants you to be aligned with your truth. Your soul wants you to have a magical life. So speak in that way. Speak to yourself from your heart and from your soul. So I know that some of you are listening to this and not watching it on YouTube, but check out this, my logo here in the background, the dragonfly. This episode is kind of an ode. It is an ode to that dragonfly. And so 3 years ago to be exact, when I rebranded for the first time, I rebranded. That was my second rebrand. Anyways, so when I rebranded and the logo became the dragonfly, the idea was that I chose the dragonfly because I believe they're magical creatures, and they are born in the mud, and they rise up through the mud and the murky water. And when they come to the surface of the water, then they expand and turn into a dragonfly and fly away. And to me, that really was reminiscent of my life's journey. I started in my childhood in the darkness. There was a lot of darkness. There was a lot of shame. There was a lot of silence. There was a lot of hiding who I was when I was young. And then as I grew and went through my healing journey, then I transformed, and right now I'm flying, right? And so this episode is an ode to the dragonfly, because when I come back in June, this podcast is going to have a different name. I'm not going to say what it is yet. You're going to have to stay tuned, but it will no longer be the Energy Center. And I'll also have a new logo. So there is a brand refresh coming up. I can't wait for you to see it. We'll be working on it behind the scenes, and we'll be launching it this summer. So stay tuned, beautiful soul. And by the way, always remember to give this episode some love, give it a heart, give it a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share this episode with someone who you think might really benefit from it. The more we share, the more you engage, the more you are putting your energy to what matters to you, and then you get to share that with the rest of the world through you just giving it some love, through you giving it your heart, because that's the way things work, right? In this virtual realm. But beautiful soul, I'd love for you to practice using your throat chakra, speaking your truth, because your truth is your power. Your authentic self and your expression is what makes your light really shine. And I can't wait to see what you express, what you share, how you begin to put yourself out there and shine your light in the world. So share in the comments, what is something you'd like to express? What is something you'd like to share? Because expression can also come in different forms. It doesn't always have to be through the throat. We can express through our writing. We can express through what we share on social media. We can express through art, but in our own words on our journal, or with our voices when we hum or sing. So there's so many different ways in which you can express. And I'd love to see or hear or read some of your authentic expression as well. So stay tuned. I will see you in a couple of months. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your spring. Namaste.